Hello, everyone. This is Out of the Box Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Andre. I'm here with my co-host, Bradley Powers, and we have special guest today, Julie Ann Guthrie-Smulson. How's everybody doing this evening?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for having us, Jim, and thank you for being here, Julie. Julie is a psychic medium, amongst many other things. And Julie is here to share her experiences, her phenomena.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Julie. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You got to unmute your mic.
Thank you.
There you go. That'll work. Okay.
Yeah, I can talk, or you can hear me now.
I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Thank you for having me tonight. Lately, I've been working on a book, and hi, Joanne. So I've put everything else pretty much on hold. It's not to say that I'm not using my psychic abilities in this process, because I am. And so this has to do with my past lives, and it's all connected to this lifetime, and there's a lot going on. It's like there's so much going on in this thing that I think, I came here to talk about energy. So one of my past partners, I was a spirit guide. I was Nikola Tesla's spirit guide. So I channel a lot of Nikola Tesla, and a lot of it comes through as 3D geometric shapes. So it's kind of interesting. So I don't know what you want to talk about.
We want to talk about you here. Any phenomenal experiences recently you experienced, Julie?
Recently?
Yeah.
Back in February, I was in a very critical period, and my life was on the line. And so I'm a sound healer, and I pulled out my tuning forks, and started using those to call for help. So I was doing this for maybe 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, I had this experience where it seemed like a portal opened and white light beings appeared and said, "We're here to help you. You need to find a way out, but we're here to protect you." So after that, I was staying with these people that were really bad. And I looked in the sky that night and there was a UFO. And I kept looking and looking and looking. I'm like, I got to go back in and get my glasses, like, see if this, like, because at this moment, Venus and Mars were low in the sky, but this was actually a spaceship and it had lights on it. And these things were blinking up and down. So, since then, I got settled somewhere else and I've been put into an energetic bubble. And I'm told that they are upgrading my DNA. So that's a new one on me.
Did
I
they
wasn't
explain?
taking,
Did they explain what they meant by that, or?
they really haven't communicated with me, but I'm really kind of tired of being in this bubble because I actually feel it. I'm an empath, but I actually feel like if somebody walks down the hall, it feels like my bubble's going like this. I'm in bed and it feels like I'm floating in different directions. So I'm curious if anybody else has like had this experience. like,
Hi, Alden.
it's like
Yeah.
I can't just put my foot down. You know, when you get drunk and this room's spinning, and you can put your foot down and make it stop spinning. Like it's not working.
Cody Greer is asking, when you made contact, were you recently communicating with your thoughts?
I'm always in communication with spirit or spirits. Um, I, from what I understand is I had experiences as a child and these UFOs are always around me. I haven't had any other contact. So that would have been like conscious remembering. That would have been like the first contact.
Vic is here with us. Hi, Vic.
Hi, Vic.
So what have you learned through your experiences? I mean, since this has began, I mean, what type of information have they given you?
Nothing. I keep asking. Nothing. They're not giving me anything. So it's like, nope, you don't need to know. Keep going.
So what do you figure that bubble is about? Do you think that's a protective bubble, or what?
It is a protective bubble because I have white hats and I have black hats, and they've channeled who I was in previous lifetimes. And so, they either have the agenda to help me or they have an agenda to attack me and stop me. So they're trying to stop me from releasing this book because it's telling what's been going on. It's all connected. It's all the conspiracies in one book. So I'm just like a poster child that had to come into this life and endure all these horrible experiences and to write about them. But more importantly, I'm here to help humanity understand that they need to raise their own vibration and they're responsible for themselves. So, and accountable. So that's the one thing that we can do is raise our own vibration, our consciousness, our awareness, because what is going on so many different levels is they are bringing our vibration down.
Gary White says he's experienced this bubble, but it was slightly different than what you have explained. Cody Greer is asking, how many phones do you have, Bradley?
Oh God Almighty! How did you notice? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6. I'm in all the different forums. I'm sharing the groups. I'm trying to do so much while the show's going.
So, this is my first experience with this bubble thing, and I'm really rather kind of tired of it because it's been going on for months now, almost a year. And I just kind of, I'm okay with being like whatever they're transforming me into, but it's like I kind of want to feel normal,
So do they contact you at all, or they just leave you sitting there without any answers?
There's I do feel like I will have, when the time is right, divine timing. I believe they're going to let me know. There's going to be a download, massive download that I'll receive, and I'll be released from this.
Well, yeah, there's
bubble.
some answers. It's like with me, with my experiences, there's some answers that I wonder about, but I feel as though those will all come when they're supposed to.
Yeah, I've got, like I said, I'm a medium too, so I have dead people coming to talk to me. So, I
Now,
have
being in that bubble, has that hindered any of your other abilities?
no, it hasn't heightened them, but I
No,
do feel
has it hindered them? Like, are you less able to do what you were doing before?
I'm dizzy, so
In other words, has it stopped you from being able to normally keep going the way you were before you were in the bubble, or?
it really hasn't hindered me all that much. I just get a little dizzy. I'd like that, Gary.
Yeah, Gary says to PM him after the show so that you guys can talk.
So I got that going on. That was like totally new stuff to me. It's just been like this constant. I've been on this writing this book thing. So back in July, I think it was, I started having these dead celebrities come to me. And it wasn't, I channeled celebrities before and practicing channeling. But this was different because I didn't call on them. And there was a group that came. And I was told that is this Vic? Why would you feel the need to be what you perceive?
Yeah, I don't know who's asking that. It just says Facebook. Yeah, the question is, why would you feel
I am my true self. I'm coming. The thing is, on this path, I'm coming more into alignment with my true self rather than coming into what others are trying to make me. I mean, that's the whole spiritual path, is the undoing. And part of this path is realizing I was used in the MK Ultra program. I was used in Stargate, and those are brainwashing programs. Okay. So, and on top of that, there's a lot of different factors with, family, narcissist, just layer upon layer that I'm peeling off to become my own self. And these are just experiences that I have had along the way. So, I was told, I wasn't told, I knew this, but it was confirmed in a session I had with someone. Um, I needed to do genealogy work. And I just kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. I'm like, I don't feel like this is really that important. And okay. So I didn't think it was that important because, you know, I didn't find it very important to find out if I was related to royalty. Okay. So that's when these dead celebrities came. And I'm like, okay, there's so many of them. I'm like, okay, I gotta see. I'm just curious, you know? Am I related to any of these people? Yes. I'm related to just about every single one of them. There was a few, they were my ex-husband's family. So amongst these are big names. We got John Lennon, George Harrison, Jim Morrison. The list just goes on. Robin Williams. It's like this crazy list.
So
And
to say,
yes, I'm related to the
to say
huh?
that you're related to all of them would have to imply that they're all related to each other.
They're the all of them are through my dad's side because I don't have my mother's
No, what I
genealogy.
mean to say is if you're
And
related, what I mean to say is if you're related to them, they must be in some way directly related to each other. If it's all lineage.
um it depends on the line because I have my Guthrie line. My Guthrie line goes back to Scotland, right? And then I've got Welsh, you know, Irish, and then I'm related to the royals, Britain. And so like this book is like so massive. Anyways, they're coming in, and basic part of their message was that they're pushing me forward to do my genealogy, but it went deeper and wider than that because I was looking at politicians. I started looking at politicians. I started looking into government. Like I'm related to like CIA people. What's that dude's name? J. Edgar Hoover. The Dulles people. You know. So,
Hi,
um,
Lisa.
like Elvis is one of mine, and he comes through a couple different lines. So they're not necessarily related to each other, but there are of that royal bloodline too. So, the Morgans. So, I was looking into the Morgans, the Astors, and all of them. Yes, I'm related to them. So, we're going to the big conspiracies, and which I already kind of knew, but I just went down this deep rabbit hole and had to I had so much information, it was beyond me. But one of the reasons these guys came, especially Elvis, and I had been to Graceland, and they've had a lot of black magic done to them. And some of them were killed with it. And so that's one reason they came.
So Elvis came to you as
So
well. So Elvis came to you as well.
yeah, Elvis had come to me like over a year ago, and he was warning me. before I moved back to California, I was living in Nevada. I was living in Reno. And he actually showed me like this big devil type person, huge. Like it was sitting on the other side of the mountain. So this is like a warning. When you go over that mountain, there's a big devil waiting for you. And so he kind of pop in and out. So just say hi.
Some people claim that they know for a fact that Elvis is still alive. So if that were the case, he wouldn't be able to come to you, would he?
Well, if he's still alive and he's psychic and he can like reach me telepathically, it'd be kind of the same kind of channel, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm asking. Do you think that all these people that are coming, because all the ones that you mentioned are deceased?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
have you made contact with any that are still alive other than Elvis, if he is alive?
Well, the thing is, these living people, they're coding their work, okay, and they're musicians. I wouldn't say all are musicians. A lot of them are musicians because I'm into music. And so they've channeled my story. And they've been coding this since before I was even born. And this is like it's a scavenger hunt. I'm telling you. So they're writing these lyrics, and just by looking at them, it's like this does not make sense to anybody except for me, because I know they're coding. Like they even start another band. They go to the point where they start another band and they write one song, but this thing's coded. And I'm like, is this really happening? And I've had a group of them come through, and I'm like, look, dudes, like this book has to do with brainwashing and mind control. I don't think it's cool for you guys to show up and hang out with me.
So you're talking
you're writing your code.
So you're talking like MK Ultra? You're talking like MK Ultra?
Yeah, because what I found out through this process in the last 5 years here is my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, they were part of it. They were part of the shadow government. Okay. My great-grandfather is the line to the queen. He's cousins with Walt Disney. So they were part of it. And this goes back, like I went back in time because my great-grandfather worked for Western Union. He did communications. He was in the Navy. He did communications and radio communications. And my great-grandmother was born in Colorado. So what's in Colorado? NORAD. Cheyenne Mountain. And apparently when I was a child, I was taken to rituals. One of them was at Treasure Island in San Francisco. And it was an active military base at the time. This is 1977. So, and what I've gathered is I was actually taken on craft. Submergible craft.
How old were you then?
I was 7 because it was 7/7/77 and I was 7 years old.
Do you have a clear memory of that, or is it foggy?
No, because they did the MK Ultra, and apparently I was taken for 2 years and I was put into this program, and I was taken to a mountain for those 2 years. Apparently I'd been taken to different locations, and I've had like impressions come up where I'm like singing. I'm like, why and I'm singing in French. And I don't know French fluently, but I got the impression that I did know how to speak French fluently as a child. And it wasn't just French. I was speaking Spanish. I was speaking German, Latin. I was speaking all these different languages because what I think they were doing, because I am a remote viewer and I'm psychic, I mean, it was the Stargate program, is they were using me as a spy. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just on this planet. I believe it was interdimensional because they're
I gotta address Cody. He's saying, Jim, am I seeing eyes popping up around you? Or is it just my imagination? Now, I've got 2 dogs in the room with me. So you're seeing their eyes if you see them.
so
Yeah.
it's been an interesting ride. So apparently I was taken on an alien craft that was in the water. And it's just real interesting. But I am that big download that I'm supposed to get is probably those memories. And so I also feel that, I have this theory. So when you ascend so high, become enlightened, your soul vibrates at such a high rate.
Cody
What
Greer is
happened?
asking. Cody Greer is asking, have you ever heard of "Sold My Soul" for rock and roll?
Yeah, if you listen to, I did a little bit of decoding Zeppelin because Zeppelin's one of the they're like master coders, and so the end of Stairway to Heaven, be a rock, don't roll. So there's so much coding in their stuff. It's not even funny. So you can go find on my channels, on my YouTube channel, you can go find some of the decoding. But I talk about Robert Johnson, who supposedly went down to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil. And then there's Jack White. What is that song? I can't even think of the song. I went blank. Anyways, that song is coded, and he's talking about dealing with these people because he got involved in it. He went to one of these things. Basically, what they're doing is they're doing energy exchanges at these things. So,
I'm sure Madonna is a part of that.
It's all connected. The Epstein Island stuff, it's all connected. Because they're using children in this, not just for what they use me for, and they did this to me as well, as they're extracting energy from children. They're doing energy manipulations. So they're doing the fear, they're doing the Kundalini energy. So they're raping these children.
The fear is connected to adrenochrome, right?
So here's the thing. Their technology, all these different layers are bringing our energy, our vibration, our human, each one of us are being affected by this. So they're bringing our energy down. So we're asleep, kind of like, I always like, the Wizard of Oz comes to mind. So they go to sleep in the poppies, right? This whole journey. So you got to have a heart, you have to have a brain, and you have to have the courage to go down this path, right? And I just lost my thought. So they're bringing us down so we don't elevate to that high level of enlightenment. So we don't know anything. And so this is just my theory. So what happens when your soul vibrates at such a high rate, it's going to split in half. So you've got that consciousness of that original soul splitting in two. So that's how we get someone that says, well, I was Thomas Paine, and you got somebody else saying that they were Thomas Paine. Well, it's very possible because they have that same consciousness. And we're all connected to this energy field as well. And so what I think they're doing is they are trying to keep souls at a certain level so that they can not only control us humans, but they're going to control the soul population because they're tapped in electronically to technologies, all tapped into the system that they are re-engineering so that they can play God.
It's all based on energy.
James
Yeah,
Blake says, James Blake says, if we could put out energy remote viewing, tough knowing, then it makes the sense the government would try to use it for that reason.
well,
Yeah.
we were talking about, I was talking backstage with Jim and Bradley about the Ice Cube project in Antarctica. And they're studying what neutrinos, and when they get that little flash going off, they've got like, you got to go look at this because they really are trying to recreate things. They're using direct energy, right? We've got these direct energy programs. They're doing it from there. So they can control anything. They can manipulate your dreams. They can put thoughts in your head. They can read your emotions. And that's the thing. They're reading your emotions so they can trigger you, so they can control you. And, going back to the neutrinos and the muons that are created from this, it's connected to quantum computing. So what they're doing is they're taking that technology and they're like creating remote viewing and technology where they can actually image things and they don't have to penetrate or destroy any biology going in and looking and taking pictures of inside the pyramids. So I think I've heard you before.
Gary White says these beings help with creative development, which is why a lot of musicians have encounters with them.
So, I have a lot of questions for these musicians, especially the living ones, because they're up in my business. It's like, okay. Like, what secret club is this? Who gave you instructions? Why are you doing this? Like, call me. Let's talk on the phone. Like, come see me.
Benny C. Trent says, yes, the dark beings feed into fear and weak-minded humans to control our actions and thought.
And they're not just doing it because I am a Reiki master teacher, so I do get, like, because I work distantly, but they've taken this, they reversed engineered it, and they put it in technology. So, I mean, you guys have heard of the Heelys, right? So they're taking that biofeedback where, us as humans, we need to get away from using those kinds of technology. I mean, we can't get away from the computer or the phones. It's really hard, but that's like a direct energy type technology that they're using. And I was telling about the MK Ultra, and they gave me a toy afterwards. Okay. And they were communicating through this toy somehow. I don't know if it was mental telepathy. I don't know what's going on. I thought I was talking to spirit. And this was back in 1977. This is before this toy came out on the market. And a retired NASA physicists built this toy. Yeah, radiation, we're bombarded. We got chemtrails, we got the air, we got the water, we got the land. It's all contaminated. They're using it all. I mean, this Ice Cube project, that's a direct energy weapon that they're creating these earthquakes with. So, and if they were doing this kind of stuff back in 1977 with a toy or toys, they've developed a lot more. I mean, don't you guys wonder about like these mass shootings? Do you think they're all crazy? Do you think, they're being told to do this?
Yeah, very much. They're following the regime, aren't they? That's why they do it.
Vic says achieving a higher state of consciousness and going beyond the frequency fence and maintaining it on a daily basis. Nothing can feed off your energy then. Cody Greer is addressing Gary, saying, funny you say that, Gary. My lab partner is a drummer.
I'm a drummer too. It's funny. When I first started doing channeling and I kind of went off and played, and I started channeling drummer energy. And so I picked John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, coincidentally. Had no idea they were coding work at that time, but I could see the drummer energy. So his is, he was known for boom, being like really thump. So it was more like a heartbeat. I channeled Neil Peart. He's precision. He came out as line. Then there's Travis Barker. He came out as Hoberman Sphere. And if you look at these drummers, you'll see it. Anyways.
I'm a drummer. I play drums.
Are you a drummer?
I've got a 20-piece drum kit, 10 cymbals and 10 drums.
So you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Johnny Mark says radiation kills out a third eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoever does it is damaging themselves too.
Yeah, thank you for that, Johnny Mark. Thank you for all your contributions, everyone. Keep them coming.
Their energy is alive anyways. That's for sure. We're constantly bombarded by energies. It's like politics, education, social stuff, war, consumerism. It's all these different layers of telling us how to live and influencing our emotions. So if we can see past those structures and go to the natural state of what existed before all of this, we can reach that higher state of consciousness. Because
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
David Wilkes says Bonham is alive and so is Neil Peart.
Bonham was a sacrifice. He was killed. It was no accident. He was killed. He was a sacrifice. And he was killed with black magic and poison. His soul's actually trapped. Because these guys did contracts with these people because this is all an energy exchange. So
Morgan is with us. Hi, Morgan.
Benny Citrain says they talk in your head. They have telepathy. Vic, they can still feed. Parasitic beings choose by temp, not fault religion or other. Some beings attach themselves if they want to you. Yeah, agree. I'm a voice hearer. I've been a voice hearer for 22 years. How long have you been a psychic medium, Julie?
Probably all my life. My the first experience I can remember, I was 6, and that was my great-grandfather. So it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. It's different for everybody. It can be alarming when you recognise you've been blessed with paranormal phenomenal gifts. It can be alarming to some. Yeah.
James Blake, to answer your question, yes. There's multiple, it doesn't matter what country, because we're talking shadow government, and it's not just one country, it's multiple countries. And so in my book, I kind of like put out my theory, because it's not, I came on here before, it's not just the 1%. So it's these downlines, it's the descendants, because you don't know my great-grandfather's name, and he wasn't rich, but he was doing this work. So these are the little worker bees that are part of this family, carrying out this work. It's
well, me and Jim worked it
they,
out. 1% is 800 million of 8 billion. Is 800 million 1% that are governing the planet.
David Wilkes says, I was taken in a fluid ship and then contacted by God and saved many times.
Wow, I believe it.
Yeah.
You were Moses, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's to know thyself, because it's not just through these electronics, it's other people, and it's on the rise, because we are, I don't know if you guys have noticed that the spiritual warfare is like the volume's getting turned up. So I've had people that I've known for decades come to me, and I'm like, they're coming to me because they are, trying to manipulate me, my energy. And so I'm just like, wow, this is really interesting to watch. So it's really important that everybody learns who they are, know thyself, and be aware of what's going on. I mean, Eric Hecker even said this in this interview. Know yourself, know who's around you, because they are able, like, energetically, from human to human, not, without the technology, they're coming at you and they're trying to manipulate you and bring your energy down. And so you need to be aware of yourself, stand in your own integrity.
Know thyself. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we need to know thyself. Focus our minds. Recognise if we're being intruded. Yeah, think pure thoughts all the time if you can. Yeah.
You have to know. It's really important, because if you don't, you're going to be able to be manipulated. And music influence have changed evil messages. I don't know what you mean by that, Johnny Mark. The coding that I'm receiving through the music, these are warnings. They're encouragements. They're like, we understand, we know what's going on. I mean, there's some lyrics that I decoded. One was a reference to Thomas Paine. The other was a reference to Nikola Tesla. And so, I don't know if they're remote viewing me, they're channeling, what they're doing to take what's going on in my life and what I'm doing and then put it in lyrics. So, I mean, and this goes back to Zeppelin. I was born in 69 and they started coding in 68. So they were channeling. And I've had like some really strange like experiences. Like I was sitting in a restaurant having dinner and this lady comes up to me and I'm wearing my Zozo shirt. And she's telling me, because we don't live far, like I don't live far from the Bay Area. I live like 2 hours from the Bay Area. And so it was here. And she's like, I love Zeppelin, Bobby and Jimmy, they used to come and stay with me, when they were in the area, when they were in Frisco, and I lived in Frisco. And, we stay up all night and Jimmy would get up and make pancakes in the morning. And I'm just like, that's like the weirdest, like, it was just really weird. And now, like, I know some stuff. I think she knew who I was. So, oh, well, there you go. Livermore Lab, dude. Like, I wrote so much on the Bay Area in this story. It's not even funny. So, this goes back to, before I was born, and they started doing the MK Ultra programming. And so they had this big concert out at the Altamont Speedway. Like they couldn't get another place. Guess what's like 20 minutes away from this place, the Livermore Lab, where it's all connected to the MK Ultra program and the Stargate program, which because Livermore Lab is connected to UC Berkeley and Oakland, it's all connected. It's crazy. I put it together. And there's connections that go to Colorado even because you got this dude, his name's Bear. So you guys seen the Dancing Bear, the Grateful Dead Dancing Bear? That's a homage to him. And this dude, he made LSD. And he was over here in the Bay Area till 66, 67. And they outlawed LSD in California. He goes, where does he go of all places? He goes to Denver, Colorado, and he's making LSD over there.
David Wilkes says this is a fascinating show, man. He's quite enjoying it. David Wilkes, thank you for that. Fascinating show.
His name is what's his real name? Because I go back generations, so I could like give examples or illustrate how this tradition is carried down through these bloodlines. David, we're gonna have to talk or chat after this. What's his name? I can't think of his real name, but his grandfather was a senator. And his dad was in the Navy in a high rank position. And it's all connected because if Treasure Island, there's radiation all over San Francisco Bay Area. That's something to do with the radiation. I mean, there's just so much. And they did Operation Sea Spray.
James Blake says it just seems energy is getting to a higher point. I'm connected to people who have passed on with warning, yes, about what they were not letting us tell people. Divine messages are real. Yes, he says. Yeah, divine messages are real. Telepathy is real. Yeah, our consciousness never dies. We can connect with people from the other side and who have formerly lived here, and they share wisdom with us. Yeah, that's possible.
Cody Greer is asking. Cody Greer is asking Julie, why is it that the temperature is cold when you receive a touch by them?
I really haven't had like physical. They don't touch me. I do have a couple spirit guides. One is a friend, which I'm just like kind of like it's kind of weird, but okay, he's been here. Right? He even warned me. He put his hand on my back and like, so he's basically telling me some shit's gonna go down, and I'm like, great. So he warned me. I've had them tap me on the shoulder to warn me. So I don't really feel temperature change, and so I asked my friend, one's my ex father-in-law. He's helping me out too. So, but my friend Brandon's with me a lot, and he'll hang out if I ask him to hang out. So
David Wilkes
yeah.
says they can't touch you. It's you and God.
Spirits can touch you. Spirits can touch you. I've been touched by spirits. They can touch.
I've had all kinds of different experiences. It's like, I mean, it's one after another, It's like, did that just happen? Yeah, I had somebody, I think it was my father-in-law, tapping me on the shoulder, like, and the other one, Brandon, touched my back, like, we're here, it's gonna get rough.
Yeah. That's why spirits can touch you. I agree with that.
I'm supposed to encounter aliens, and I think when I do, I will be able to communicate with them, because honestly, I know my soul is not from this universe. My soul's from another universe. So,
yeah.
I'm an
You're
alien.
writing a book at the moment, aren't you, Julie? You're writing a book, which you haven't published yet.
Yeah, well, all about the stuff I'm talking about tonight. It goes deep and wide. I can't think of that guy's name. His name's Bear. If you look up Bear, Grateful Dead, you'll find him. But yeah. I can't think of his name. Anyways, his grandfather he was a senator, and coincidentally, he was appointed to be on this committee.
David Wilkes says Max Bear. Is it Max Bear?
It's not Max Bear. I can't think of his name. He's the third, though. Here, let me find it for you. Oswald Stanley. So I'm actually related to these guys too. So Oswald Stanley the third. And this dude is like, he was into radio communications. He went to work for Rocketdyne. He was working on reverse engineering, like, warheads. He wasn't just building the chemist. He was actually the Grateful Dead's. He created the wall of sound for the Grateful Dead. Like, so he was into these frequencies and the amplifying, messing with sound. So it's not just lyrics. It's not just like artwork. It's the actual frequencies that go into the music. So it's not just playing something backwards and getting a message. It's like they can infuse this. If you can infuse water, like if Dr. Emoto's work, you say something into water and then freeze it, it's going to come out with like geometric designs, or it's going to come out a blob. And we're 70% water, so it's going to have an impact. I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry.
Morgan Roundtree says, I hear that my soul is definitely anchored in Gaia. I'm very connected with Sasquatch. Yeah, but I have a lot of intergalactic influences for sure.
I don't know the planet or universe I came from. All I know, that I didn't say I couldn't receive dimensional touch from where I came from. It was all love and bliss. And so it's really hard to be here knowing that's where I came from and what it's like there. As far as interdimensional beings, I think I have encountered interdimensional beings. I was standing in my room and felt a hand touch my hand, and this was not somebody. This was somebody that was in another dimension. So part of my healing was I was very cursed, and I had interdimensional black magic on me, so I was incapacitated. My energy was incapacitated, so I'm free of that now.
Well, we're coming up at the top of the hour here. Is there anything you'd like to tell the viewers before we end the show?
You know, y'all have free will. You have free will. We are 99%. So know thyself and stand in your integrity and be aware of who's around you and what energy's going on around you. Cody, I don't receive the touch from. I have 2 spirit guides and they have touched me. And an interdimensional being that was touching my hand. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
All right, we're just about at the top of the hour, so I'd like to thank everybody for joining us and interacting.
Yeah, and thank you, Julie, for appearing on the show. It's a pleasure to have you near us, and we'll have you back again sometime, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Thank
we'll
you.
have you on again, Julie. All right. See you all in the next one.
Thank you so much.